Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio Tutorials. In this tutorial, I want to look on different ways to create advanced shapes. And Plan Factory, it's not just to create plans, it's also very powerful modeling tool. So you can go and create different shapes, metal, gears, anything you wanted, buildings. And I want to show the way to look on how you can create it, and it's actually one of the way you can find many different ways to do, but just overall share my knowledge how you can create fun uh, shapes inside the Plan Factory. So the first you notice we have a trunk, and the problem is it's a very round trunk. My first goal, for example, I want to build a building. I want to build different buildings inside the Plan Factory and use it ecosystem after to manipulate with them. Maybe even create cartoon building. But how I can create from this to the shape to a little bit more square. So if we look on the segment right here, you'll notice the ways we don't have it, we have it radius, everything. The one way we can manipulate with the shapes, it's by working with the roots. So the roots, you can notice, they modify for us our shapes. So let's go ahead and set length to 4, a little bit shorter. And we can take these roots and bring them all the way up. By doing this, we can first, let's switch to the 4 roots. So we'll have it like a cube, 4 size. Okay, next, what I want to do is take height and bring it up to 4. But you notice how they reducing. So we can remove this by remove some values. So let's go have 0. Base, it's right here on the bottom. So for now, I don't want it. So 0, we have it straight. And notice we have a depth filters enabled. So I'm going to this filter, edit filter. I'm going to switch to the square filter and bring this all the way up. Let's go all the way to 1. Look, right now we have very interesting shapes. With this shape, you almost can create different fruits as well. For example, you can create banana or other very easy with the shapes, because now you have a kind of square shape. Again, it's not always square because we have some of those embedded. And this work with the depth. So let's go on the depth and set to 0.5. Notice right now we have it somewhat square with a little bit roundish corners, but it's already very close to almost any fruit. Like, for example, again, if we have the banana, all what I need to do is just shrink on top, on bottom, and just use it in influence and basis with a curl. I can easily create banana shape from this. And then next, just put them bunched together, and there you go. But overall, here's a basic shape. Next, what I want to do, I want to add a little bit more sharpness to this corner. I can do this by using the shapes. So let's go edit filter for the shape. And notice right here, we're on 50. And this is our middle. So this will be our corner right here, and this will be our sides. What I want to do with this, I want to create one point. Okay, take this point and bring all the way to the 1. Now we have this point right here. And next, let's go create 2 more points, bring them just slightly down. And we'll take these points and bring on the same level. You can see right here as I'm doing how it already starts sharpening those corners. Of course, we have some small right here. We need to rework a little bit on this smoothness right on the sides. But you can see this is already give it quite a bit nice effect. Of course, to work with this, we needed just apply and modify. And you can see when I start bringing them closer, they kind of start smoothing out. So it is a little bit adjustment and tweaking. You can, by playing around and adjust and see which one will work best for you. But right here, I add some sharpness to these corners. Okay, so let's go click OK. And just overall, here's a very basic kind of cube. You can also go ahead and create level 3 pyramid. We need to rework a little bit on a width in this case, but again, if you want it, you can go ahead, bring this down. Okay, we'll need to go have it width just a little bit readjusting, because right here we start losing some point. Let's maybe bring a little bit closer. Okay, to adjust. And again, right here we start crashing because we need to rework a little bit on a shape in this case. So we'll bring sharper edges in this case, like this. And right here we start having more cube. Again, because it's organic and we need to add a little bit more maybe effect, but let's give you an idea how you can manipulate and adjust and creating different type of the shapes. So let's go on next. Right here we have some interesting base that is created. And you know what? Let me bring those. I'll leave it this base like this. Okay, also notice you can have it a very nice kind of rotation almost done. But next, what I want to do with this base, I want to add something more interesting to the top of this base. You know, how about we're going to create some gears? So let's do this way. I'm going to create a new segment. And for now, I'll just connect this segment and let's, you know, let's take and place it maybe tip of the segment, 0 right here. So it goes straight. And I'm switching to user defined so I can preview. Let's go switch to about 1 meter tall. And we'll just leave it like 1 as a default. Next, I want to work a little bit with the root flares as well to actually create a gear from this. One thing, let's go start with increasing, maybe, you know, put a 24 of those segments. I don't want any random on this. And the height is very important because height, you want to be higher than your link, or at least the link size. It's very safe if you put it just 2. We can always go and create a height and connect as external, so we'll link to our link. So for example, we'll go to numbers, constant. Okay, we can create a constant number right here. For example, set 1. Okay, we can extend our parameters, our segment. Right here we have a segment link, root flares, and we have height. So we can always go ahead and connect directly to the height and to the link. On this case, when we modify this, we need only going inside the one number and modify the link, which is work for both of them. Okay, next, let's go for this base. Well, we'll put it 0. The depth, we'll leave it as 1. And let's go take width and put it 0.03. So right here you can see we have a very interesting effect going on. It's already look like a gear, but not yet there. So let's go in a depth. Again, we'll switch to the straight and we'll bring this all the way up. So now it starts looking somewhat as a gear. And we can work a little bit right here on the cup to make it look more interesting. Let's go inside the cup. We'll set 1 point. Let's set another point. Maybe bring kind of step down. Okay, bring 1 more. Down. We can bring this maybe. This shape is however you prefer to create. I'm just create very fast shape, and you can see right here we have kind of interesting shapes going up. If you don't like how this cap looking, if you don't like inside, but this is already have a very interesting effect, what we can do, you can take disconnect your height to the root. Okay, let's go back to the segment, and on this height we need to make smaller. So for example, if our height on, actually, well, let's go back right here, and we'll just disconnect them as well for now so I can show you. Okay, right here, if this height is 1 and you don't want this effect, you actually want to decrease, so put it even less, 0.8. On this case, see what's happening? Now we cut off the gear from the top and we have this kind of bevel edge they're creating. We can always bring very close to others to reduce. So right here you can see we start having this edge. If you don't like it, what has happened before, if you remember, this is what's going inside with our gear. So let's go ahead and leave it with the bevel edge for this. And if I want connect, I can simply connect, add math function and add like minus some operation to this. So we can go create math, subtract. Okay, we can create constant. Let's subtract minus 0.1. 1, 2. Again, we'll take this one to the height, and we'll take this one to the length. Just another ways we can kind of manipulate and work. Actually, this is 1, so we'll put it .1 because we're subtracting. There you go. So right here, on this case, if we want to modify, we can have our link 3 meters. Or we can have our link to the 0.5 meter. So it still have this bevel applied to that. Okay, so this way you can create a different type of the gears. Also, if you think this edge, again, too big, remember you can always go inside the cup and just modify some settings right here. To create a little bit thicker inside or otherwise. Okay, on a gear here, a couple things just want to point. So the base, well, if you want to create kind of more trapezoid, different type of the gear, for example, let's go in constant and we'll just pop up to 2 meters, so it will be a little bit taller one. I can go inside the base and I can bring, for example, this base, well, maybe to 0.5. See what's happening now? We have an interesting kind of trapezoid going to different type of the gear. Of course, we want to modify. You notice what we're doing with our base right here on the edge. So we can go and modify slightly. This edge, you can play around a little bit more with how it's going. But overall, right here, we'll bring it down. Okay. And we have a little bit more trapezoid kind of gear, different type of the gear we created. Okay, now always, if you want to create a lot of different gears, you can, okay, let's go to set 0.5. Okay, right here, let me just disable our base back to 0. Okay, I can take this gear, my segment, okay, actually let me collapse a little bit, And I can set them into the loop and create it additional to spread. So in some cases we can, let's copy paste one right here. I need to delete my connections. Okay, we'll take this one. We can connect to new child. Okay, let's go on a segment right here. We can leave it as 4. Let's put it 90 degrees, so it will put them parallel. You notice it's spread them kind of around. Okay, and we want to switch and surface of the segment. So we'll split them around. Let's go coil about 90 degrees, so they will put it around. And right here we can bring them all down by typing 0.001 and maybe same thing, 0.001. Kind of almost in the same segment. So right here is add segment. We always can, you kind of can adjust, but I think the tip of the segment will work fine. Oops, actually surface of the segment. So now we have it gears. The other things also, which is will affect, because this is going on a side right here, and remember our roots is kind of spread out. In some cases you want to actually pull them a little bit out, and you can do it transforms and with offset. So we have it like X and Y offset. We can go maybe 0.2. So you can offset them ways or push away a little bit from the center. So let me go set back to 0. Okay, actually I did on the wrong segment. I need to do offset on this segment. So we'll go and transform and 0.5, 0.5 if you need it. So that right here we just push them a little bit out. Okay, let's maybe you know what, let's go just set this link 0.5 as well, and we'll set this 0.4. There you go. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio, and please remember visit us on the web www.geekatplay.com for more different tutorials.